For more on the impact of this disaster in Brazil, we're joined by Paulo Sotero. He is the director of the Brazil Institute at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. This is an area you're very familiar with. So for our international viewers, set the scene for us. How important is this area? And talk to us about environmental concerns leading up to this.
Well, Minas Gerais is the second largest state in Brazil in terms of the GDP, in terms of its economy. This area is the origin of Vale do Rio Doce, which is the second largest mining company in the world. And that was in this area in association with the Australian company BHP, conducting mining activities. The allegation surfacing now, Mike, is that in the process of increasing production, and production at this special mine this particular mine was increased by 37% in the past 12 months, that the process of environmental licensing was not appropriately enforced. People were speeding things up. There had been warnings about potential structural failures of mine, or they call this tailing reservoirs. And so people knew that this could happen, and now we have a disaster that happens on top of a very bad, problematic economic situation in Brazil.
And touching on that, giving the speeding up, trying to gin up the revenues coming in, the perhaps lax environmental standards. I was reading that there was a report out not too long ago that predicted more catastrophic mine waste failures, and they're actually seeing them increasing in frequency. Can you talk to us about that as a problem, and how can that be addressed?
Well, no, those types of dams, reservoirs are problematic. People know that. Engineers have warned people. There are probably some 20 such types of reservoirs, of dams that have been identified as potential failures. Last year, in a town not far from there, a similar incident happened, but this is the largest of its type in Brazil's history. And you have now problems of potential contamination in a very large area, tensions. The Minister of the Environment is already saying that there were probably some inappropriate enforcement of environmental regulations. The companies are reacting correctly. Actually, the CEO of BHP flew to Brazil, and you saw them on television. Same with the CEO of Vale. But it is just, in a moment where politics in Brazil, politicians in general, the government in particular, lack credibility, it is very difficult to convince people that this was just an accident and that things are going to be fixed and we are not going to see this again, because resources are scarce and people are pretty angry about this.
And with this economic downturn, I mean, Brazil's struggling. How quickly can this government respond to this catastrophe and help the people? I mean, we just had the story of a young victim dying, the father in the hospital, the family homeless. I'm sure there's countless people out there struggling.
Well, in this case, it's estimated there are about 20 people still unaccounted for. The number of deaths, it's 6 or 8 confirmed. But this is, a shock to a region that is very important to the Brazilian economy, very important to the economy of that state. Mining is a very important contributor to the economy of Minas Gerais. So this is one, unfortunately, episode on top of a bad economic situation that is not going to get better. Brazilian economy this year is estimated it will contract by as much as 3.5 percentage points and continue to contract, hopefully at a less speed, a minor rate next year. But it's the first time in Brazilian history in more than 8 decades that Brazil will have back-to-back 2 years consecutive years of recession. So the mood is not good, Mike.
All right, Paulo, always a pleasure having you, and thanks so much for your analysis. Appreciate it.